questions. I understand that. I have a lot of questions. Why am I doing a guide for the 9th most popular hero? A hero who by all accounts already wrecked shop, especially in that weird abyss where they don't buy sentries. I don't rightly know, but I wouldn't worry. I usually end up ruining every hero for whom I make a guide, so this will probably work out great. Riki. You know Riki's pretty close to my name, Eric, so when I play, I can say I am Riki. But every day I'm Riki because I am Eric. I'm always acting Riki. And when I get wrecked by you guys using my Riki guides against me, I can say I got erect because of my name, Eric. And it's true, I get erect when you use my guide. You picky Riki when you want to be tricky. Get a random Dota player over and ask him to name the first spell that comes to mind with him. He'll say permanent invis. But you don't pick Riki because he can be invisible all the time. In fact, his invisibility ends up being a hindrance that I'll explain later. What Riki has that other invis heroes don't is smokescreen. A 6-second level 1 AoE silence that also stops attacks. Literally everything that could do damage to you is stopped by this spell. And this is why you pick him. Everything else is just icing. Name one hero who stands perfectly still in fights. Name heroes that need to move around in fights. Perfect, you've just named every hero in Dota. Riki counters them all. Theoretically. Just He also counters heroes that don't want to die, heroes that like hitting opponents, and heroes who depend on mana. Yeah, the more I say it, the more this seems... Maybe we should narrow it down. Riki's tier 1 stomps are people who do all of that stuff. Medusa's up there, standing perfectly still. She wants mana from Mana Shield. She depends on hitting targets. Slark's also in there for different reasons. He still depends on hitting targets to gain damage to himself, but he also wants to use all 3 of his abilities as much as possible. You can't Dark Rift this silence, boy. The rest of tier 1 are just supports that channel spells. And that moves us right along to tier 2, which is nearly all comprised of squishy supports who Riki can get to in a team fight. Lich, AA, Maiden, Shadow Shaman, Lion, pretty much every single support. And tier 3 are just heroes that fight in a specific well-presented spot. Drop it in Void's Chronosphere on Legion Commander's Duel, put it in Clockwork's Cogs as he desperately tries to break free from a Huskar he trapped himself in with. And on the flip side, Riki's own counters end up being pretty clear. Special mention goes to Bristleback. Riki wants to stab people in the back, Bristleback wants that too, so we end up with Riki itemizing for backstabbing and coming out doing less damage than attacking Bristle from the front. And then you could always go Silver Edge, but that's getting into some really weird territory. But obviously Riki's biggest counter is detection, so obviously the tip top is Bounty Hunter, Slardar, Broodmaster, and Beast Mother with Necrobook. But even then you might just find that they don't fully realize how much they can counter you and lose games they rightly shouldn't. For example, Bounty Hunter and Slardar have true sight debuffs that you can purge with Diffusal. We all know that. You will get a Diffusal because you are a Riki, and because both heroes know they have a spell that gives true sight, they neglect to buy sentries because it would be redundant. I have a spell that reveals. Why would I need anything else that reveals? And all of you guys watching can understand what would happen then. A team with a Slardar is less likely to buy gems and sentries, your true counters, and you have free reign to initiate on the bounty, the Slardar, or anyone you want. You will always get the first hit because they won't see you coming and they have to play reactive instead of proactive. And every time they finally lock you down, you purge track, you face shift the shuriken, you silence the Slardar jumping at you. See, I told you I ruin all my good Riki strats because I tell you them. Now you know if you're a Slardar, buy sentries as well. I'm an equal opportunity spoiler of fun. Tier 2 counters are heroes that clip you with AoE spells, anyone with a Radiance, Timbersaw if you don't silence them right away, Lina, Kunkka, that sort of stuff. Just mind your positioning and you're good. And tier 3 is the dreaded Force Staff, but all you really need to do is account for it. Walk, don't blink strike to a person, hit them a few times, you'll instinctively think, Riki, I better Force Staff, and then just blink strike to where he is now. And you're good. Purge them, drop your smoke screen now, and you've just counted Force Staff. But then you get into those weird fights where everyone has a Force Staff and the guy you attack gets 5 Force Staffs consecutively and finds himself safe back in the fountain. Riki has 2 states of being in the early game. One is a guy with a juicy silence but no damage, the other the opposite. Riki's ally combos are anyone who does a lot of damage but needs a target locked down, or anyone who does the opposite. Later on, Riki loves heroes that can keep someone locked in with the smokescreen. Wagamama says that Puck plus Riki is one of the most disgusting combos in the game, and he's relatively good at Dota, so I'm inclined to believe him. Smokescreen plus Stream Coil plus Tricks of the Trade. Heroes want to walk out of smokescreen, but then they break coil and are stunned for the entire Tricks of the Trade duration, and if you truly had no dignity, go combo with a Darkseer. Iron Shell and M-Click right on someone, and then sell your soul because you won't be needing it anymore. As with every only way to play guide, you can find this one in-game. There's a link somewhere in the world. The ability build looks like this. You'll see right away the Cloak and Dagger's max, not because level 4 is great, but because level 4 is the farthest you can get from awful. 6 seconds of not being invisible will feel like a lifetime, although your actual lifetime ends at about 4 seconds of not being invisible anyway. The extra agility damage is sort of just a bonus. It's a remnant from the old version of Riki that's slowly being phased out. We don't itemize around it for the most part, but we'll talk about more of that in a bit. Level 2s for Blink Strike, usually used to get out of harm's way. We get a level of smoke because it's a 6-second duration, 25% slow, and 11-second cooldown at all levels. Then we max Blink Strike, then Smoke Screen, Trick of the Trades picked up at level 6, but the odds of you getting more hits is pretty slim, and level 1 it lasts for 4 seconds, the same cooldown for Blink Strike. Blink in, ult, wait for the full duration, blink out. You don't really need, and you probably won't use, level 2 and 3 pretty much, I'd say 80% of the time. Smoke screens only increase upon leveling as the radius and miss rate, but in a way that slightly increases the duration. Most people aren't going to actually stand in it for the full 6-second duration, so the more time they spend walking out of it, the better its effect. The particle system also doesn't increase at the rate the radius increases, and most of you can attest to that. I can attest to that. I'm angry just telling you about it, and I play Riki. I should be wanting this. Everyone will have a story of how they were clearly out of range, but still silenced, so use this to your advantage. Blink strikes damage isn't an attack, it's applied before the attack as magic damage. You still have to wind up an attack after landing. That sounds bad, but it's actually amazing, because you can blink into someone and immediately use tricks of the trade. Because we didn't break Echo Saber's active, the slow hits everyone, and oh yeah, I buy Echo Saber. We'll talk more about this in a sec, because it's sort of important. Cloak and Dagger's invisibility is just that. You don't even get extra movement, regen, anything like that. You're not even phased, and that works out great most of the time. In higher MMO, you do run into those people meticulously spooling over every step they take. As soon as they stop moving, for some reason, they'll insta-dust because you block them. So watch your footing. You can body block deliberately too, because people can't see you, they can't anticipate your movements and outstep you. I've secured kills I wouldn't have on any other hero because I successfully body blocked a drow for 30 seconds while desperately pinging my teammate who slowly trudged over and took the kill. Riki will be invisible right after spawning, so with Aegis you're already gone, and using items and spells don't break invis. You can TP right out, although the effect shows, so I mean if they have AoE spells, just be careful. Backstab damage works on allies. RTZ knows all about that. Oh no, watch out. Okay. Tricks of the Trade works the same way as Phase Shift. You cease to exist. It disjoints projectiles and all that, but Riki still takes up some space on the map. For some reason he's not phased. He doesn't exist, but where he used to exist is still blocked. Nothing can walk through that. I don't know why. You can actually body block someone while in ult form. Also, like Phase Shift, it can't be cast in any sort of route. If Riki is blinded, his hits might still miss, but if he is disarmed and ults, the disarm wears off and those hits will work. I don't know why, don't ask me. And the big thing that makes this great and dictates everything we build, all attacks, proc orbs, and on-hit effects. Here is a demonstration in case you're up against 100 axes anytime. The thing about Riki is your item slots fill up fast. No wands, no Aquillas. If you took the time to buy them, you'd find you'd actually have to drop them a minute later. So with that in mind, start off with 8 Tangos and an Orb of Venom and 2 Iron Branches. A perfect 625 gold, so it must be the perfect build. We have a starting armor of 5 and shouldn't really ever have to tank creeps or a tower, so skip Stealth Shield. It's tempting to get a PMS for the agility, but in the end, we're not going to be needing it as much as what we end up going. 8 Tangos can safely net you up to at least part of your boots, and with that, you can safely go back to base and then go roam anywhere on the map, especially if they have a jungler. Oh, and I forgot to mention, those boots that we are getting, they're phase boots! Okay, so let's just back up a bit. Riki today isn't Riki in 2013. You used to buy treads for the agility and attack speed, but nowadays that only gives you an extra 2 damage. And the attack speed is entirely wasted on a spell that guarantees you 1 attack a second with no way of speeding that up. So with that in mind, damage comes first, agility comes second, and phase boots might have a bit of damage to them. Our core items include Urn of Shadows because you will be in every fight and nothing keeps you healthy like Urn. There is no item in the game that keeps you from base like Urn. And if you can't convince your team to let you have the Urn, I'm sorry to say that the next best thing is Tranquil Boots. The rare Edgeco approved 2 boots build, phase and tranquil boots. But where Urn gives you 400 health in 8 seconds, tranquil boots takes a little longer. 45.3 seconds to be exact, and I don't think the enemy is going to wait around for that. Urn is the greatest item for a squishy hero in the middle of the fight who can get in and out at whim. But I mean, you already know that. I did the exact same thing for Weaver. Echo Saber is the next big item. Echo Saber shouldn't work the way it does. I was actually worried about making this guide and still am because I thought it was a bug Icefrog would fix. In fact, I can guarantee it is a bug because it does something extremely bizarre that, by all accounts, it shouldn't. Maybe he will after this video to spite me. Basically, Echo Saber normally causes you to hit twice in quick succession, and both of those hits slow a lot for like a split second. Now, Echo Saber in Riki's ult works like this. Every single hero gets slowed by the first hit of Echo Saber and it goes on cooldown. If you have maxed out ult, 5 seconds pass and you hit another time. That makes a little sense. But then you get into this weird terrain when you're only ulting one person. If no one else is in the AoE tricks of the trade, the one person being attacked gets slowed by the first hit, as we've already established, but then gets slowed again on the next hit a second later and gets hit after 5 seconds has passed from the first hit. You get 6 hits over 6 seconds and 3 of them is an Echo Saber proc. Doesn't make sense. So yeah, Echo Saber's pretty good right now, and will be probably drastically fixed in about an hour. After that, we pick up Ricky's favorite item in Diffusal Blade. You don't need to sing its praises. It's Diffusal Blade. You can slow people, it gives a bunch of agility, and you can remove track, amp damage, dust, anything that would ruin a Riki without Diffusal Blade. And that's 5 slots filled. TP scrolls are core on everyone, so bam, 6 slotted, and it's only 20 minutes in. Wow! After Echo Saber, it's best to store your Orb of Venom somewhere else and just use that extra slot for sentries, dust, maybe an infused raindrop. You are pretty squishy to magic damage. It's a game by game basis. Go wild. Late game, obviously pick up Diffusal Blade 2. Use all your charges before you can, and then pick up a Skadi. But in reality, any item that applies something on hit is good here. Deso, MKB, SNY, Helmet, even Satanic. 100 HP, you activate Satanic, you immediately ult, you hit 3 people, and bam, you're full health again. Special mention goes out to Blink. If they have an Underlord waiting to insta-stun you after you ult and you remember the way you were facing when you ulted, you can ult long enough that your blink comes off cooldown, and if you blink the way you're facing, instantly dodge it. This doesn't work against Black Hole and Chronosphere, and I learned that the hard way, so you wouldn't have to. I lost that game. First and foremost, level up Cloak and Dagger and scout ahead of the rune spots. Go up the ledge on the other side of the river early so you can catch who's coming and if they bring in sentries. If they're not, stand right on the rune spot and mash right click and H. This is specifically to get the rune, which takes no animation, but to cancel an attack on whoever is on top of you, who will also be wanting the rune. Accidentally breaking invis while on the rune spot surrounded by enemies is a surefire way to die in less than the 6 seconds it takes to become invisible again. I play Riki on the offlane as a farming role as much as I can. He's not the carry, but he's always a carry. He just might not know it yet. As soon as your lane gets hard, or if you know they're setting up to kill you, roam. Obviously, first stop is jungle if they have anyone in there. Bloodseeker getting his farm stolen by Riki is comedy gold when you're the Riki. Any other time, it's just sad. If they don't have a jungler though, head mid. Usually this should be past the 4-minute mark because supports will anticipate you rotating in and place a sentry for their mid as soon as the game starts. Make them waste it. Have your mid keep an eye out for the ward's death animation because that appears, and immediately pounce on the opportunity. From that point on, roam from place to place farming heroes. You don't farm creeps, you straight up can't farm jungle half the time, but you don't even need to. Sooner or later your presence will force the enemy to group up and team fight, but where every other invis hero cries, you can laugh. Because as long as you have a way out, Riki excels at teamfighting, and because of your nearly 100% uptime because of Urn, you can slowly whittle the enemy down until all the towers are taken, Roche is in the hands of your carry, and you're staring down the final push. And then you stagnate. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but the enemy base sort of has a lot of towers in it. At this point, play Riki like you don't have invis, because in reality you don't. Every time you initiate in a fight in the base, you will be seen, but you'll probably be okay. Usually you win games by having a surprise team fight while their team is out of the base, and you quickly jump in to take that lane's Rex, rinse, and repeat. Let's get the obvious stuff out of the way. Riki is countered by warding and keeping an eye out for your support, so Riki will always want to jump on the support at the back, so play around that. Normally your Warlock is the farthest from danger so he can safely channel that upheaval, but what if you have him babysat with someone who Riki doesn't want to find? In general, your team fights a 4v4 with Riki versus your poor support in the back and a little 1v1, and because of that, you know that the fight you're about to go into won't have the Riki in it because he's currently looking for that support. You can jump in on that, be proactive, don't let Riki start the fights on your behalf. Second, understand that Riki will use Smokescreen as soon as possible for the slow as soon as he jumps in, which means for 11 seconds he's not using it for its silence. Third, a Riki wants you to run just like a Timbersaw wants you to juke around trees. Have you ever tried just turning around and facing a Riki while in Smokescreen? It's a surprisingly good way to mitigate damage. If you face him, even with you not doing damage, you are living longer. Living longer means teammates have more time to save you. 4 stuffs, I already mentioned, just use it when you need it rather than immediately after Riki targets you. And most of all, understand that Riki is squishy. The reason I advocate Echo Saber and Urn before Diffusal Blade is because being in teamfights and getting stunned as collateral to an Earthshaker without strength items means you will die. And as much as a lot of people watch these, and I'm happy for that, most people in the game will still build the normal way. No Urn, PMS, treads, and tranks right into Diffusal Blade. There is no strength giving item in any of that. Oh, and don't let them farm an eggs. Oh, what? Oh my goodness. Oh, where's the button to turn that alarm off? This episode was brought to you by Dream League. Watch Dream League. Dream League is great. Why aren't you watching Dream League? It's not actually sponsored by them, but yet again, I'm working on content for them and DreamHack Winter for the next week. I'll be dropping a few guides here and there, but mostly my videos will be weekly Dream League recaps. They're the closest thing to an all random I'll have on my channel for months. Remember all random? Is that still around? Yes. Oh god, yes. All Random 8 will come the same time I release my 40-minute Oracle guide, right before There Can Only Be One, and release with my new book, Everyday Working Stiff, the story of Erect Right. Oh yeah, and this guide was brought to you by these guys. Brandon Koo, Christian Rudder, Free Kill, Matt Masters, Alex, Max Gallagher, Pearson Newborn, XZ, Nico, The Commie, Jeff Miller, Christopher Eden, Michael Robb, Shadow Sweetheart, Evil Motherfucking Jellyfish, Aaron Tang, Jacob Miller, Headcrafter27, Alex, but like another one, Itai, Efrat, Noble Chernobyl, Sam Goodberry, Matcha Green Justice, Mason Lee Mills, Maxivest 2D, Red, It's Your Boy, Anthony Silverstone, Kerrison, Parker Bukowski, Redless, a friend of Epica's, Snuggly Wuggums, Kevin Lorenz, Lord Hibbert, Ninny Bottoms, Milocott, Chestnut, Yavis McGee, Cinderwin, Tsunami Shadow, Wing, Martin Thoreau, John Boone, and Red Mitchell. I'm glad I didn't go with my original idea of reading out everyone's names and making a limerick about them. We might have been here for a while.